Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. So you're moving towards your goal, the dream, whatever it is that you want to turn into reality. And you're beginning to get some momentum, some progress. And then all of a sudden, something happens. Maybe it's with a friend or family member, and now you need to stop and regroup and take care of them. Or might it be something going on with your job? All of a sudden, you have a health challenge. That's one of the things that I have to deal with is every time I go to increase my level of physical fitness, I know that at some point I'm going to feel like I'm coming down sick. I already know it's going to happen. So is it that you get overwhelmed or you find yourself procrastinating? Your attention is diverted to someone or something else. How is it that your momentum and your motivation gets paused, redirected, and at the very worst, stopped? Well, I'll tell you right now, it's not what you think it is. Surprise, surprise. The reason why you slow down, redirect, and even stop in going for your goals is because the habits you have for failure, and whether it's failure or success, it's just a habit. The habits and patterns you have in place for failure are meeting your needs, and you're motivated to do it, and you get a hit of feel goods when you freak yourself up. Say what? Yep. You've been conditioned and programmed not to take care of yourself, not to go after your goals, not to turn your dreams into reality. You have been conditioned and programmed to make it happen for someone else, and that's what fires you off. This is the reason why you can be building momentum and all of a sudden get sidetracked for someone else. I had started a new healthy routine in my morning. And I woke up about a week ago to an email from someone in Australia going, "Oh my gosh, I tried to purchase something on your site and it didn't work out and I don't understand." And so before I even went in to my new healthy routine, which I had promised myself I was going to do before anything else, I am sitting in my robe in front of the computer trying to take care of her needs. And then I caught myself and went, there I go. See, you'll either redirect, you'll procrastinate, you will overwhelm, and you will stop. But you've been programmed and conditioned to do that. So what we want to do is we want to look at what you're valuing that turns on these bad habits, what the bad habits give you. And this is the reason why it's so slow for you to be able to make progress, because your mind is looking for the same feel goods off the new habits, off the upgrade you're making, and that's not going to happen right off the bat. So it goes to what it knows, which is the dopamine you get off of being a dope. And going back to the bad habits. It gives you a feel good. By the way, if you're new to my world, you might be going, whoa, wait, start over again. I'm Dawn Ferguson, certified instructor and hypnotist. I train others to be able to do this for people just like you. And I want you to be empowered to where this year is going to be the year that you absolutely blow yourself away with your own magnificence. But you need to understand that getting stuck in the muck actually fires off feel goods for you. Okay. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to redirect to others. After the redirection, then you're going to procrastinate. After the procrastination, you're going to overwhelm yourself because, hey, now there's so much to do because of the procrastination. And then you're going to quit. And because you're going, I think it's a message from the universe that I just shouldn't be following through, that this goal just isn't for me. No, welcome to your internal systems that want to take the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance is you doing stuff for others instead of yourself because you're hoping that they'll finally like you. And that's, you've learned to settle for the crumbs of being liked instead of actually being loved. So it's doing for others. Then that procrastination, well, that actually gives you an energy hit. When your back is up against the wall and now you're forced to do something, that gives you extra energy to propel you, but then it wears you out really, really quick. And that's when the overwhelm takes place because you're used to, oh my gosh, waiting till things are absolutely blowing up before you do anything. And then you can't do very much except handle the crisis. You can't ever move forward with sustainable success. And then that leads to you just overall quitting. So we want to be looking at today how to keep you motivated and moving into results whenever what I call the core four, because the core four can be met in a very healthy, functional way, and it will absolutely hold you back and keep you from moving forward in every single area of your life. We want to look at the core four, and then we want to look at the motivators to meet that core four. By the way, if you've joined me live, you have any questions on this, drop me a line in the comments. I'll do my best to address it. If you're catching it on our podcast, and oh my gosh, the podcast, Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire, has now been picked up by Amazon Music. So just, so grateful and being able to reach more of all of us, because if you're in my world, you're in it because you're a leader. You are not a follower. You're not a manager, because all managers wind up doing is trying to manage the emotional states of people. They're not actually managing productivity. They're just trying to help others feel good, thinking that they're then going to be able to get more out of them. So you can be managing at work. You can be managing with your family, with your friends. It does not matter. You're not able to make an impact because you're not influencing, and you influence because you've learned to internalize what's going on to bring you out at your very best. You've learned to create that environment inside that's going to produce the results on the outside. And that is being a true leader. And if you're in my world, that's what you're being called to do. So let's look at some of those leadership principles today. Okay, let's look at how you self-sabotage. Remember, number one, as you're gaining momentum, all of a sudden somebody in your world is going to need something. So you will redirect that momentum to other people. So that's number one. Then number two, because you're beginning to what I call leak resources. You're leaking resources. So what do you do? Then you begin to procrastinate on taking care of yourself because you're taking care of others at the detriment to you. Then you go into overwhelm. That, oh my gosh, you've put yourself into a corner. Now you've done it on purpose because you know that you'll finally use that wall that's behind your back to push you off and give you momentum. That deadline, oh my gosh, it's got to be today. You need to do it. But in doing that, it takes a tremendous amount of energy just to get out of the starting gate. You haven't built it up for sustainable success. So most of that energy is used just to get you started. So by the time that you get to the end, You're absolutely exhausted. You don't have enough left over to keep going. And then what happens is that you give up. So your very first step today on your plan of action is begin to look at each of these areas so you can become aware of when, oh my gosh, look, I'm redirecting my resources. Now I'm procrastinating on myself. I know overwhelm's coming and that I'm going to stop all forward movement. And I'm going to use the excuse that the universe says I just shouldn't have this goal. You know, if you resonate with it, if it is a true desire, and a desire is something that won't let go of you can let go of it all you want, but it won't let go of you, and you find yourself coming back to it again and again and again. It's because you do possess the ability to make it your experience. You can make it happen. It's known as mirror neurons. You will only go after, you'll only really consider something that you can achieve. But again, your programming is going to run against you. All right. So the core four are the four values that everything you do in life, more than 3 weeks, because after that, you're getting your emotional needs met from it. Anything you do longer than 3 weeks is because it is meeting one of these core four: certainty, variety, worthiness, and validation. Certainty says dysfunctional. You need to do for others instead of doing for yourself. This is the reason why we start off with it. Instead, you want to be looking at, you need to be doing for yourself first, just like on the airlines, they tell you, hey, if we lose cabin pressure, put on your mask first. You cannot give away what you do not already possess for yourself. But yet, that's exactly what you were taught to do in school. You were, or even before that, you were taught to make your primary caregivers happy, not based on your brilliance, because hey, little kids really aren't showing a whole lot of brilliance, right? So you're taught to make others feel better, and then you go to school, and then you're taught to make your teacher feel better, and then higher learning, you're taught to make your professors feel better. Freaking dangerous right now. We got a bunch of kids running around who have no idea how to live life because they were taught by their professors to make the world a better place based on how the professor feels about it, not based on that young adult actually getting out and experiencing the world. Okay, and then we move into our careers. Oh, let's make our boss feel better. We pick a partner where we need to make them feel better. Okay, no, you need to be able to experience your gifts, your talents, and creating certainty in a world where there isn't any by relying on yourself. So that's the very first value. Second value is variety. Because once you have too much certainty in the world, you get bored and you'll sabotage yourself just to give yourself something to do. By the way, this is part 3 of a 4-part series. Go back to part 2 and you're going to see where I talked about how you will self-sabotage just to give yourself that feel good. Okay, so this is when you begin to procrastinate just to give yourself an energy hit. Instead, you want to give yourself freedom of choices. Hey, yeah, I can procrastinate on this and do something for someone else because I realize I'm getting my needs met in a dysfunctional way. I can do that. But you know what? Instead, I'm choosing today. I'm going to give myself the choice that I can go ahead and do this for me. Maybe I will be dysfunctional later on today, but right now I'm going to take care of myself. So you have to give yourself freedom of choices. It is not yes or no. Notice how I said, hey, I can procrastinate later on today. You cannot tell somebody, don't do that. Because what are they going to do as soon as you tell them that? Oh, yeah? Hold my beer and watch this. Oh, I don't drink anymore. So hold my coffee and watch this. Tell me I can't do something. Yeah, I'll show you I can't do it. The rebel in you will come out. It's one of the archetypes. We all have one. So instead, give yourself a choice of when you can experience. You can experience it now or you can experience it later. And maybe when later gets here, you decide you don't have to experience it then either, because you're starting to get a high off the freedom that no one is going to tell you what to do, including yourself. All right. Then what we would move into from procrastination, overwhelm, right? That is the level of worthiness, to where we can get our worthiness met through being important. Look at me and how hard I have to work. Oh, this was me that first year in my business. I was pulling 80-hour weeks 17 years ago, pulling 80-hour weeks. You know how much I made that first year? A little over $7,000. How is that possible? Oh, because I had to prove that I could give myself away and rescue everybody. From some of you, this sounding kind of familiar. We have to save them because they can't save themselves. And so we have to only be there for others that will take and not be in a partnership of exchange. Oh, you're going to assist me with this? I will pay you. I will pay you in attention. Hey, if it's business, I will pay you in actual money. I will pay you if it's in friendships. Yeah, friendships need to be give and take also. I will pay you that there's an area where you're not so great and I can assist you, and then you're going to assist me in this area. No, not if you're getting your worthiness met in a dysfunctional way. You will overwhelm yourself by give, and you attract what you are, not what you want. And what are you going to attract? People who take. And even if they should try to give you, you're like, oh no, that's okay. This is just who I am. Because it's who you are when you're dysfunctional, but the law of polarity says everything's created as a whole. For there to be an up, there's an down, there's an inside, there's an outside, there's a front, there's a back. So that means for dysfunction, there's function. For dis-ease means there's ease. On stress, you can either have distress or you can have eustress. It's spelled EU in the word stress. And that's this level of overwhelm. You've simply been taught to use stress as something that is going to flood you and take you out. Instead, you need to be using this stress as a wave that you're going to ride. You'll reach greater heights of success with less effort. If you think about a muscle only grows when it's been stressed. But you need to do it to where it's significance, because you're going, I'm going to discover more about myself, and I'm going to discover my strengths, talents, and abilities to make the world a better place because I'm better, not because I'm giving myself away. That's going to overwhelm me. But I know emotional wave is coming. The flood is coming. I'm telling you right now, there is a massive flood that is going to be coming real soon, and it is going to overwhelm a lot of people, but not you, because you're a leader. And you're going to ride that wave, and you're going to be able to pick people out of the surf and go, come on, let's grab our boards. Another wave's coming. Let's go do it, because that's the level of significance where you're pairing up your leadership and you're assisting others. But you can only do it by modeling for them, by you bringing yourself out at your very best. And then their mirror neurons are looking at you going, how's she able to do that? How does he keep moving when everything around them is falling down? How are they doing this? I want what they have. And then that's when you move to the next level. The next level is validation. A lot of influencers now, not leaders, but influencers on social media, have been taught to get validation because it's the likes and the kudos and the good jobs from their followers. And then what happens when cancel culture shows up and those followers go, no, I don't want you to be who you are. I want you to be who I need you to be. And the followers begin to cancel that influencer. See, we've all been taught to settle for connection, the crumbs of connection, being what others need us to be for them to be okay. And we did it at some point in our life because we were craving love and we didn't know how to give it to ourselves. And so someone came along and they manipulated us and they used us because they said, well, I'll give you love if you do this, this, and this. And then we did it, but the love never came. And we wound up being programmed and conditioned to be what they need instead of being who we are. You are past that point in time in your life. You're well past that. And so no longer looking for love in all the wrong places. Oh, now I got that song going through my head. No longer looking for love in all the wrong places. Instead, you're going to give it to yourself. You're going to discover what it is that you need to do for certainty and saying, if it is to be, it is up to me. And then variety, you're going to give yourself freedom of choices. And then significance, because you're bringing out your strengths, talents, and abilities. And that's how you can feel fulfilled. You're filling yourself up with the emotions that you need to experience directed at you. No one can make you feel what you don't already do to yourself on the inside. It's time for you to step into that power of love. You know, I did a session with someone not too long ago who was using food as a way to abuse themselves. Not their fault, because they went through a situation where they didn't have any control over it whatsoever. And when we're in pain, we will do anything to minimize it, to lessen it just a little bit. So we'll look around at what we can control. That's the food, that's the drink, that's how we talk to ourselves in an awful way, how we won't allow ourselves to feel good because it's what we can control. And so I told her, you take that younger you and you place that younger you in your heart where she's going to be kept safe and secure. And you will never allow anyone to hurt that younger you again. And that's what I'm asking you to do as a leader, to take that part that's wounded and no longer look to people, places, and things to make it okay, because you are now going to step in with the wisdom that you have to make this happen. But you've got to understand that taking care of others to the detriment of yourself, the procrastination, the overwhelm, and the stopping are the habits you have in place for failure that when you enact them will give you a hit of feeling good temporarily because it's what you know. Same way, if you are used to taking showers and brushing your teeth every single day, and then you don't right now. My mom is having a problem with her septic alarm going off, and they're coming out today to take a look at it, but she hasn't been able to shower the last couple of days, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm losing it. Well, it is the same way for you. When you have habits that are hurtful and you don't engage in them for a couple of days in a row, in about 72 hours, you're going to be climbing the walls because you're used to doing them. You've got to begin the reprogramming and the reconditioning that those triggers that turn on those bad habits, those triggers are not going to go away. Instead, you have to reprogram them for results. You have to reprogram those triggers that when that person shows up and says, you're going to pay attention to taking care of me instead of yourself, furthers your desire to be a leader. That whenever the procrastination rears its ugly head and says, nah, you can put that off. It actually puts deposits into your energy account to get more done with less effort. That whenever you begin to feel overwhelmed, you're like, bring it on, babe, because I'm riding this wave all the way to the results that I want. And that the ability to stop and says, no, this isn't for you, that springs you out even more as a leader and says, no, no, others can have that, but I'm going to love myself right into the leadership of turning this dream into reality, because you already know that how you abuse yourself with what you say, with the bad habits, won't get you to where you want for sustainable success. It's time to love yourself into that leadership. Okay, this is the reason why I love hypnosis, because with one session, all of this can be reprogrammed and reconditioned. One session, you will walk away with the beginning steps of sustainable success. Now, you may need more than one session to turn the dreams into reality, but everything I talked about today can be started with one session. So if that makes sense to you, this is what I would like you to do. I'm going to give you two choices. The very first choice is reach out to me, 636-699-7791. You can do that with a text or a phone call, and we're going to have a break free into the Real You Results consult. I know hypnosis can help you. I just don't know if I'm the one to help you. And if you want a little bit more about what hypnosis can and cannot do, go to canhypnosishelpyou.com. It's my website, one of them, that gives you a beginning understanding of what you can accomplish. So again, one session to begin to take the outside triggers and use them to turn you on for your success. If you're going, okay, but I got a really big dream this year that I want to turn into reality, then I want you to go to drewdawnferguson.com/DIR, Dreams into Reality. And that'll show you the system that I'm going to take you through to actually turn that dream that is a desire. You've given up on it in the past, but it won't let go of you. What needs to happen? The system for sustainable success for you now to have it instead of it only having you. So we can either get you results right now with the triggers of you turning on you at your very best, or you can move into that dream of sustainable success, because you are then revealing the leader that you really are. Okay, here we go. Step one, reach out to me. Dreams into Reality, or 636-699-7791. Step two, look at where you really hold yourself back. Is it with the diversion for others? Is it with the procrastination? Is it with the overwhelm? Or is it with the stopping? Because one of those is your very most favorite. That's step two. Step three, now you have an awareness. You have a choice to experience something that's upgraded. The triggers aren't going to go away. Instead, you need to upgrade the triggers. You have a choice how you're going to move forward. Is it with me? Is it with someone else? Remember, I said no, yes, or no's, because you'll rebel against that. Is it with someone else using hypnosis? I'm not quite sure. So if you reach out to me and you're like, I don't know, Dawn, are you a good fit for me or not? I'll even give you the questions you should be asking when you interview other hypnotists, because you don't even know what questions you should be asking to find the one that's the right fit for you. I've been in the industry for 17 years. I train others to be certified hypnotists. I know what questions you should be asking. I want you to be empowered. I'll give them to you. Okay, there you go. No longer will you allow yourself to be dumbed down to your previous programming and conditioning. It's time to give the pain a new purpose, and that's for progress. So until we get together and you're break free into revealing who you really are, your highest level of leadership, until we get together on that. Turn on your brilliance. Make the world a better place because you're actually better in it. We need you. We need your light. Time to turn it on brighter. Thank you for the honor of serving you.